Welcome. Today's presentation is Effective Feedback on the Bus, brought to you by the Transportation Department of Jefferson County Public Schools and the Behavior Support Systems Department. I will be presenting along with my co-worker, Dr. Ann Morgan. My name is Ronzel Smith. We are under the Culture and Climate Department. Dr. Katie DeFari is our assistant sous. Our MTSS department leader is Dr. Naomi Ibrahim, and we are under the MTSS behavior. Today's lesson attention is participants, you guys, will be able to define behavior-specific praise, the benefits and how it can be incorporated into your bus expectations. You will be able to apply effective statements in conversations with students, staff, and parents. You'll be able to use an acknowledgement system to reward students based on that student's individual schools. What is behavior-specific praise? Behavior-specific praise is a low-intensity tactic that can be used to reinforce appropriate behaviors. Behavior-specific praise occurs when you observe a positive student behavior and praise the students for their appropriate behavior and continuing with that positive behavior. For example, if you think of a basketball coach, let's use John Calipari or Coach Mack at U of L. They give behavior-specific praises all the time throughout a game. Great shot. Keep up the defense. They're giving those players immediate feedback and praise so they could continue that intensity on defense or offense. What should we use behavior-specific praise? Why should we use it? Who should use it? It takes little effort and costs nothing. It improves student and driver relationships. Imagine this, a student come on the bus every morning, just give them a little bit of behavior-specific praise. Hey, thank you for coming on the bus and going straight to your seat. I appreciate it. So imagine that student is taking that behavior-specific praise. Now imagine if you do it 10, 15, 20 days. Now it becomes little or no effort for that student to come on that bus and sit down because they know that they're going to get praise for doing the right thing. It is not time-consuming or intrusive. It reduces problem behavior because that student wants your praise. They want you to acknowledge, hey, I'm doing the right thing. Because believe it or not, they look at other students that are doing negative things and might be grabbing your attention most of the time. But hey, if I'm a student, I'm doing the right thing and my bus driver never acknowledged me. So just giving a little behavior-specific praise will go a long way. It increases positive social behaviors. The kid is doing the things that you want them to do. So why not just give them a little praise with that? The 5 P's of behavior-specific praise. Praise statements must be linked to a behavior. Thank you for sitting down while the bus is in motion. Thank you for coming on our bus. I appreciate the way that you're sitting in your seat when the bus is in motion. Provide feedback specific to the behavior, positive and it's genuine. Praise effort, not ability. And have a personal connection. Get to know your students. How often should we use behavior-specific praise? In general, a 4-to-1 ratio of praise to corrective statements is preferred, and using an average of 6 praises statements every 15 minutes is also recommended. But think of this. Why not praise the student as they're coming on the bus? Why not praise the student as they're leaving the bus? Why not praise the students as you walk down the aisle to do a check? You could do multiple checks. Hey, thank you, Mark, for sitting down. Hey, thank you, Emily, for reading your book while we're waiting to load the bus at the depot. Those are behavior specific praises that you can do immediately, and you can do it to a mass quantity of students at once, in a short time period. The 4-to-1 ratio. If you just do those simple tactics, you will hit the 4-to-1 ratio easy. Acknowledgement in PBIS. It's a system that provides immediate or long-term rewards to any student in the building who displays the desired school-wide expectation of behavior. Presume positive objects, activities, or events. And again, this can be low cost to minimum cost. This is something that you should work hand in hand with the school that you're driving for. When you get back, check with the assistant principal or the principal to find out what their PBIS system is for their school. Why is an acknowledgement system necessary? Acknowledging the behaviors you want to see repeated teach a student to engage in that behavior. Let's not forget the district-wide behavior expectations. Be responsible, use respect, stay safe. We must constantly teach those expectations to the students and acknowledging when they are meeting those expectations. Acknowledgement systems are structured in a way to use behavior-specific praises to help students understand exactly what they did that was appropriate. When using behavior-specific praise, it is important to name the specific behavior that was observed along with the expectation. For example, hey Dan, I appreciate you sitting in your seat while the bus is in motion. You are being responsible and you are staying safe. And if he responds, Mr. Smith, thank you. Thank you, Dan, for using respect. That's how you acknowledge, and you're giving very specific praise to that student. It is important to name the specific behavior that was observed along with the expectation that was displayed. That's a very important concept. So students know exactly what they did well. Let's look at the JCPS behavior expectation. Be responsible, be on your best behavior. Follow the driver's directions, no food or drink on the bus. Keep the bus clean. Use respect, listen to your driver. Use inside voice, keep hands, feet, and objects to yourself. Use appropriate language. Stay safe, stay seated at all times. Keep head, hands, and feet inside the bus. Please do not distract the driver. Watch for the driver signal before crossing the street. This is something that we should teach every single day, especially since our students have been out of school since March and have enrolled on a school bus. So as we go back to school, we need to reiterate the bus expectations for JCPS. Next, my coworker, Dr. Ann Morgan, will take over. Thank you for your time.
Hello. So I'm going to talk about how it works. So how does it work? Many schools have a system where students may earn points or bucks or coins, or you might have seen them get on the bus with these little pieces of paper for following the school expectations. The points or cash can be redeemed by the student at their school, PBIS cart or store. So usually the schools will have a little push cart that's got little toys on it, or they'll have a store where the kids can go and redeem their points or their cash or whatever they call it at their school, and they can redeem it or their bucks, they can redeem it for little toys or trinkets or something like that. And it's different, it can be different from school to school. So you want to check with each school and see how they do it at their school. This will vary from school, so when you use the praise BUS, BUS is be responsible, use respect, and stay safe. That behavior using effective statements when it is exhibited by students. So Mr. Ronzell, he talked to you about using behavior-specific praise. So you can do that while using affective statements, and that makes the statement or the interaction between you two more powerful. Communicate with school staff and parents when students are doing well. Now, we all know that parents get that phone call that's not so good sometimes, every once in a while. And some parents are used to only getting phone calls that are not very good. So when you have a chance to make a positive phone call or a positive interaction somehow, email or a postcard or whatever, you should do that. Take advantage of that and have those positive communications. Find out what system of rewards your school uses and see if you can participate in that. So that's something you'll want to check with your schools, your assistant principal, your principal with. So what are affective statements? Personal expressions of feeling in response to specific positive or negative behaviors of others. Use an I statement. Now you want to make it personal because the kids will respond better because you've been using these behavior specific praise, and now you've created these good relationships between you and your students. And so now they don't want to hurt you. Your kids don't want to hurt your feelings because they like you and they know you care about them. So you use those I statements and they're like, well, I don't want to hurt my bus driver. I really like her. I really like him. So that makes that more personal. It creates an understanding for the one who misbehaved and the impact of the hurtful behavior. So they can see, okay, I really did hurt them. Because sometimes kids don't know, I didn't know I was being hurtful. I was just joking around. And when you explain it to them, it helps them to stop that behavior. Separates the deed from the doer. So, if the kid, maybe one time when and you might have done it, I don't know, a lot of people have done it when they're in the 7th grade or something, maybe you steal something, or 5th grade, you steal a piece of gum or something like that from a store. And then you don't want to be labeled your whole life as a thief. So you have to separate the stealing from you, the deed from the doer. And you can stop being a thief, and the stealing is bad. You are not bad. The stealing is bad. So maybe standing up on the bus is bad. Throwing pencils is bad, but the student is not bad. Can result in a shift in the relationship between individuals. It helps to teach empathy and the language of emotion. So what affective statements accomplish? They set boundaries because you're telling the students, you're saying, I feel sad when you aren't seated because if I were to wreck or had to stop quickly, you could get hurt. You're providing feedback and you're teaching empathy. You're teaching the kids to empathize with you. And they'll do that when you have these good relationships. So here's an I statement format. I feel blank when you, because. So like the one I just gave you, or you could say, I feel concerned when you use bad language because that's not respectful and that's not how we talk on the bus. So you're going to use things like that, and always go back to your expectations. Use things that match up with your BUS. So the kids are clear on that, and it's repetitive, and they know that that's something that's a constant. So here's some examples. I feel frustrated when you don't address my questions during training because I don't always understand things. I feel angry when you disrupt the class because it makes it harder for other students to learn. And I feel happy when you complete your work because it shows me how well you understand the topic. So I feel, and then you're feeling, and then you tell them why, and then you tell them the outcome at the bottom. So you're saying, I feel this way because, so you're giving them an explanation for it, and you're creating empathy. Be selective in your battles. Sometimes peace is better than being right. Okay, so act as if what you do makes a difference because it does. So when you're working with the kiddos and you're doing those affective statements, be sure to use those like continuously with the behavior-specific praise. They go hand in hand. They work very well together. So again, you could say, hey, Susie, please get your hand in the window. Or I feel scared when I see your hand out the window because you could hit a tree and break your arm. Okay, so you're behavior specific, hit a tree, and you have your feelings. I feel concerned, so these are ways you can communicate with the kids that will continue to build positive relationships. Thank you so much for being here with us today on our webinar, and we look forward to seeing you again. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Ronzel or I at these email addresses.